What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Affleck 9916, and welcome back to episode 38 of the Pittsburgh Penguins Be a GM. In the last episode, we did the draft, and we also made a huge trade. If you haven't seen it, we traded Ian Cole and another defenseman for Tomas Tatar from the Detroit Red Wings, who's a 25-year-old winger who's already 87 overall and still has a year remaining on his contract and is only paid $2.5 million a year now. With Daniel Sedin, this year will be his last year with the Penguins, so it'll work perfectly because he'll get a salary raise. Tatar will when Sedin retires, so it's going to be perfect. But in this episode, guys, we are going to be offering contracts to all of the people whose contracts expired this year so they don't become free agents. First one's going to be Kevin Porter. Kale Moller. The big one that I'm trying to re-sign, though, is Olli Maatta, and we'll get to him a little bit later in the episode. But the trick that I did for this episode, guys, is something that many of you who have played the NHL series for a while are familiar with, and it's called the 0.85 trick. And basically what that is when you offer a contract to someone, as you can see, Oleski, his asking price that says $0.525 million. And what you do usually, say he asks for $1 million a year, well, if you just offer 85% of that, so you just go in your calculator, 1 million times 0.85, and that's 850,000. If you offer him, 85% of what he wants, typically on this game, they should accept that. And that works perfectly because you can free up a ton of salary space. It doesn't sound like a lot, 15% difference, but it is if you add 10 people together. If you have 10 contracts of 10 good players that are all over $1 million, that's enough to add another player, and it can really benefit your team. So that's what we're doing with everyone, the 0.85 trick. You see David Perron, one in my calculator there, 0.85 of 3.35 million is, I don't know, what did I come up with here? 2.85 million. So that's what we're going to offer Perron. I might have tried to go a little lower than 0.85 on there, but as you can see, that's basically what I'm doing. It's interesting that Perron's staying with the team too, because I really considered trading him. I really wanted to trade him for a while. The Penguins in real life traded him to the Anaheim Ducks for Carl Hagelin, but Perron stays. Sutter stays, who the Penguins traded in real life too over the last offseason. So obviously some differences between what I've done and what the real Penguins have done, but I mean, that's to be expected. 2 different GMs, 2 different seasons, stuff like that. Anderson, we just offered him what he wanted because he was hardly asking for anything. Zlobin, these are probably guys who will never make it to the NHL, and they didn't ask for much anyway, just $500,000 or something. Scott Wilson, I'm surprised he only asked for 0.75, but he probably wants a short contract because he's still improving. He was our most improved player last year, so I definitely want to re-sign him. I feel like he could potentially become a third liner eventually instead of a fourth liner. He's already 78 overall. If he can get up 80, 81, 82, that might be able to be good enough for a third line, or at least just have a really good fourth liner. Same with Brian Rust. He's only 24, and he's got high potential to keep improving as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the skaters improve. Olli Maatta is 86 overall. He's got a lot of time to improve. I think the potential fluctuates between elite and top 4D. I'd love to see him get to 90 overall. That would be something. He's only 21. So if he has a good year, he could definitely get to 90, 91 overall eventually, which I would love going into the future. That would be absolutely awesome in my opinion. But as you can see, he only asked for 3.27. I was surprised. I thought he'd ask for a little more. We're going to try to offer him longer because we know he's going to, later on in his career, when he gets better, he's going to ask for a massive salary. I bet 6 or 7 million, kind of like what Chris Letang has, because he will be eventually our best defenseman as Letang gets older, and Maatta will really come into his prime. So he's probably our best young player on the team right now. Young as in under 25. He's definitely the piece that we want for the next 15 years. Not that I'll probably end up playing that much. But anyway, Kuhnhackl, Eriksson, they're both pretty much starting to level out how good they can become. Adam Clanding's another big one. He's high potential. He's only 82 overall, but he's 23 and has a chance for a top 4D. He could turn into an 85 or 86 overall defenseman by the time he finishes improving. The Penguins actually traded him in real life as well, but I wanted to keep him because he has a lot of potential. Tyler Biggs, top 9, did that say? Top 9 forward. He only has low potential, but he's still younger too, so we want to re-sign him. And we didn't re-sign Bo Bennett because we didn't have enough money, or Ben Lovejoy, but what we're going to do, as you can see, pretty much all these guys accept the trades. There's a couple rejections in there, but we'll go back and offer them just a little bit more money so they end up signing them. But what we are going to do is have to trade someone to free up space for those two people, and as you're going to see later in the episode, it's going to be Chris Kunitz. Now, I don't know why I didn't show it in the last video, but Pascal Dupuis did retire. So if you're wondering about Dupuis, that's where he decided to retire, so he's no longer on a team. So that opened up some cap space for us to bring in Tatar, and obviously to re-sign some of these free agents. So that actually benefited us that Dupuis retired. That's actually a good thing. And Kunitz, he has 1 year left on his contract, so we're not going to get much for him, but if we want to be able to re-sign these defensemen of Lovejoy and Bennett, and Bennett's not a defenseman, but if we want to re-sign those two, we just don't have enough money unless we trade Kunitz, because Kunitz is like 37 years old. His salary is $3.75 million. He was a great player for us. He won the Stanley Cup in 2009 in real life, and then won with us on the game just this season. He was actually huge in the Stanley Cup Finals. Him and Dupuis were big. Unfortunately, we have no other choice but to trade him. I don't really want to all the way because he's been good, and he might still be good this year, but unfortunately, you know, we gotta be thinking about the future as well, and if we want to keep all the rest of our players, it's just unfortunately going to be time for Kunitz to go with, because he's just paid too much for his age, unfortunately. So kind of just sometimes how it happens. But anyway, as you can see, if you've been following, we re-signed the rest of those guys that we were looking for. Jeff Zatkoff also re-signed, so not really any problems re-signing with any of these guys. They all wanted to stay with the team. No one wanted to become a free agent or try free agency, which is kind of good because, I mean, we just won the Stanley Cup last year. I would completely expect them to be happy about that. Tomas Tatar, he was happy about trading with us. He said he's excited to start with his new team, and hey, we're really excited for him. He's going to be a big part of this team for a lot of years to come, I really hope. He's really going to boost our offense. Have a few more guys. I think these are actually our draft picks. Yeah, they are. All under Kunitz. Leonov, which was our second round pick. That was the first pick we had. I think I might offer some contracts to them, but as you can see, I have 2 years to offer them a contract, which is nice. So I don't have to worry about salary cap with them quite yet. And it's nice because there's their potentials, by the way, too. Rankin looks like he's our best potential. Him and Keenan's. Keenan's is medium potential of a top 9 forward. He's only 19 years old, so I think that was a pretty good draft pick. He might be a part of this team in a couple years from now, but I have 2 years to offer them a contract. They have to be with us since we drafted them in the minor leagues, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. That's something we'll worry about down the road. Obviously, our focus right now is to win a Stanley Cup again this year, so that's pretty much going to be it for the re-sign phase. As you can see, the re-sign phase is officially over, so now our priority is, as you can see, Ben Lovejoy. We can't offer him more than $0.7 million, and he went to 1.925. And I think the same thing is going to happen for Bo Bennett, who we also are going to need to re-sign. So we go to the trade block, and we actually first offer Kunitz to Anaheim, which is ironic because that's Kunitz's old team. The Penguins traded for Kunitz back in like 2007 or something from Anaheim. That was a huge trade. That was a big deal because Kunitz was really, really good back then. He was in his prime. That didn't work out with Anaheim. We offer him for a second-round pick for the Boston Bruins. As I said, I'm not going to get much for him. He's an old player with 1 year left on his contract, and he's paid $3.85 million, who might retire after this year anyway. It's going to be really hard to get something, so we're going to go to Carolina, and we're going to ask for a second-round pick from Carolina, who's not a really good team, so that's why I did it. It'll be an early second-round pick. They're going to reject it. It's just they're not willing to give up that high of a draft pick for Kunitz, who will probably be a one-year player. We see if Boston wants it. They're a good team. He might help them make the playoffs. We add in Tyler Biggs. He's still not going to go for it. Buffalo, we didn't try. But then I think we end up going to Carolina here next. Or is it? Yeah, we go to Carolina. And we're going to go to draft picks. And I think we're going to try for a second-round draft pick first. I don't remember if I tried for a second immediately. Or if I tried for a third. Let's see what I did here. Pretty funny. I'm sorry, this is kind of hard to commentate, but as you can see, Carolina rejects that. So what we are going to do is go to a third-round draft pick with Carolina. We add in Tyler Biggs and Chris Kunitz, and as you're about to see, they do accept this trade, guys. So Chris Kunitz goes to the Carolina Hurricanes along with Tyler Biggs, who has potential as a top 9 forward, so that actually is giving up something decent, but that's okay. I'm not going to complain too much. We had to get rid of Kunitz, and Biggs could become a part of the team, but we have enough young talent as it is right now, I feel like. So I think we gave up more than we got on that trade, but it depends on how the draft pick goes, and also we had no other choice. As you can see, we offer a contract to Bo Bennett, and we now can offer actually just what Lovejoy wants. We didn't even do the 0.85 trick because now they're free agents. They can sign with someone else. So I wanted to offer them something good so they would re-sign with us. That is kind of our goal here. Or else that would make trading Kunitz really worthless. We're going to advance a couple days. As you see, 3 days now. They still haven't got back. 4th day, and yes, they both accept the deal. So they are now back on the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that, guys, is going to do it for our offseason. There's our preseason schedule. Our first game will be against Washington, and that will be in the next episode. But before the next episode, there's still 2 minutes left. I want to go over our lines for what's going to be next year. Line 1, Sedin, Crosby, Kessel, same as last year. Line 2, Tatar, Malkin, and Hornquist. Oh my god. That is going to be a heck of a good line, guys. It's not Dupuis and Kunitz on lines 2 and 3 now. Tatar and Perron. Perron, Sutter, and Bennett. Bennett's 85 overall now. Holy crap. He was only 82 at the beginning of last year. Wilson, Rust, and Porter are on line 4. Our line 4 is still not that great, but my god, our line 2 is better than most teams' line 1. Mata, Letang, Lovejoy, Clendenning, Eriksson, and we have O'Neill at D, but we're going to call up Dumoulin for the minor leagues because he's an 80 overall. It's funny I say minor leagues like this is baseball. I'm so used to baseball. We send O'Neill down, we bring Dumoulin up, and he will be joining the team on the 3rd line in defense. So that's pretty much it, guys. Our lines this year are just going to be stacked. Our offense, I think it's going to be 94 overall. That's the ranking for the entire offense, which is incredible because last year we were like 91. So our offense, Tatar was a huge acquisition. I think that was a great trade. Our defense is a little worse than last year, but we have some young defensemen that'll continue to get better. Our offense is going to be the best offense in the NHL. I'm really excited to start this new season. And we, guys, will be doing that in the next episode. We'll be doing the preseason. I'm just going to do 1 episode for the preseason. I'm only going to show the 1 or 2 goals from each game because it's just preseason. It doesn't matter. But it'll be a good episode anyway. So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm ready to start the 2nd season. I hope you are. For now, we'll see you next time. I'm Mr. Affleck 9916. Peace.